We're live. What, not live, we're recording.
We are live.
Jeez, I'm showing my farmer tan.
Careful there.
Jon and Tara podcast.
Nice.
I got gang signs.
Be careful.
We're a gang.
We kind of are a gang.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't want to mix with us though.
No, no.
This is the Jon and Tara podcast. Hey everybody, we're in a new location, but it's actually the same city. So just our favorite, just outside our favorite coffee shop. Little ways from home.
You can see the overhang on the canopy out there outside the door. Ruby's Roost.
Coffee shop.
Coffee shop.
Yep. So we're doing a quickie today because we're on our way.
Nice.
So we're going to cover boredom, or AKA, used to be called the 7-year itch.
I think nowadays it's like the 1.5-year itch.
Or 6 weeks or something.
6-week itch.
Yeah. Well,
that
that's
sounds
big
more
enough.
like a rash.
That's something else, right?
That's hilarious. We both thought of that at the same time.
So we've been married 22 years. We've been together a little longer than that. So quickly, in the year 2000, we met in January. We started dating in June, and we got married in November. Bam.
All in 1 year.
All in 1 year.
Yeah.
So it's been a
Lots of pressure.
No, like no pressure, really.
Yeah.
But that's another day, another story.
I remember you ain't getting none of this milk if you don't buy the cow.
Yeah, I think that's exactly how I said it too. But good principle to go by.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So buy the cow.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to call yourself the cow in that situation.
Well, that phrase came from a time where a cow was one of the most valuable things you could own. I mean, it give you milk when it was beyond its milking years. I mean, it would give you milk. It would give you baby cows. You would have male cows. The male cows you would slaughter, and the female cows you would keep having babies with, right? And so you had meat and milk and cheese and yogurt and kefir and cottage cheese and all the other products, soaps. I mean, there's so many things you could do with dairy.
Yeah. So you're not typically going to get the milk in those days without buying the cow.
Without buying the cow. Well, you could buy the milk probably, but you'd have to pay for it.
Well, you have to buy the milk.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how the saying goes.
Okay, enough about cows.
All right, and milk.
Yes.
So the 7-year itch, boredom. So I think that
Okay, first of all, did you have it?
the 7-year itch.
Yes. Did you have any itchiness?
No, I think we go through natural cycles in life.
Are you saying I scratched all your itches?
You're really good at scratching my itches.
I probably am.
So interestingly, I'm going to equate this right away to astrology. So I think that we have really good chemistry.
Well, first, numerology. Our numbers are very good. In any tests, any personality tests and all that kind of stuff, we're a match.
Well, that's because my personality is so awesome that of course it's going to match.
Your personality is so malleable.
Yeah, it's pretty.
No.
Well, no, because that would be like mental illness kind of if you're too malleable.
That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
No, we're matched. In
We're really
any
matched.
tests we've taken, personality tests, the Enneagram, any of that kind of stuff, we complement each other in various ways. So
that's certainly helpful. I don't think that you should be obviously going around and like, here's my astrology chart. Do you match with this or that? But it's helpful to know a few things. I mean, we didn't know any of that stuff before we met other than our sun signs. And the first book that I read from your house was actually soul signs based upon astrology. It was pretty interesting.
Yep.
Because I wasn't like into it when we first met. It was just like something I kind of knew about, and I knew a little bit, like most people do about their, the average person might know about their sun sign. But I think
their daily horoscope would be their sun sign for those
Right.
who don't know. Yeah.
So I think just first of all, just chemistry helps with preventing boredom. And first of all,
Yeah. I'm a boy, you're a girl. We have chemistry.
that was good chemistry to start with.
It worked. Opposites attract.
But you're a person that you yourself, even just by yourself, you don't really get bored. I mean, you keep yourself going, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that says a lot. Because if you're with a person that already kind of entertains themselves well, they're generally entertaining. I mean, you're a Leo, so that helps. I mean, a Leo is just kind of like party animal within themselves in their own way.
So do you sing the song, My Boy Likes to Party All the Time, Party All the Time?
No, but I will.
Good.
Okay.
I'd like to hear that.
So I think first of all that helps a lot. I'm not. I mean, what would you say about me? Would you say that? I mean, because there are times
Boring
where
as hell. That's why.
we balance
Yeah,
out so well.
we complement each other.
Okay.
No, you're not a leading lady. You're not. You don't take the lead on purpose. If you're doing things on your own, you do. You take charge. You're a go-getter. If you're in your company, you're a go-getter. You have people that work for you. But you also play a wonderful complementary role. Um, I, a very little known fact about me: I play a wonderful complementary role also, and both of our personalities have both aspects. And so in our last three podcasts, we had the submission series. We talked about submitting to your relationship, submitting to your husband, and submitting to your wife. And well, that's a little over 3 hours worth of us talking after being married for 22 years and having lots of people in our circle who are married and been married for a while and are still married. You know, we don't hang out with we don't know too many people that are currently divorced. You know, we know people that are divorced and remarried, you know, and that type of thing. And you know, I'm one of them. So it's a as you go moving through relationships or your own relationship through time, you understand more. And you know, I knew what I was not looking for when we met, and you knew what you were looking for. I was not looking for a massive list of problems and irritabilities, and you were looking for one thing. You were looking for potential.
And I knew that inside, like I knew inside, like there would be a match, it's a feeling, and I was kind of able to identify it as, but much later identify it as potential.
You were attracted to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It was an energy.
Yeah.
And I would say similarly is your energy as far as because we're doing a quickie about keeping it exciting, preventing maybe the 7-year itch, preventing boredom. And I think first of all is your own responsibility. Like you need to keep yourself going first of all, and then you can help keep the relationship going.
If you're taking care of yourself, then you can take care of other people. You know, if a guy is strong, he can carry someone when they're weak, they break their leg, they fall down, they get hurt. But if he's not strong, he can't do that. And that's a principle across all humankind, right? That if you are balanced, you can help somebody else balance. If you are intelligent and you work on that, you can help somebody else grow in that area. And you know, that's always been kind of my philosophy. If I have something above someone and they're willing to learn, I teach them.
Yeah.
And that's pretty simple. By the way, like, subscribe.
Please.
We need 50 subscriptions in order to go live.
Right. And we want to go live,
On YouTube.
answer questions,
Yep.
Make it more dynamic and exciting. We love interacting with people. And so, yeah, please like and
That
subscribe.
way we don't get bored. We don't get the 22-year itch
Yeah.
or the 23-year itch.
Even if we've already hit over 50 by the time you see this.
Keep subbing.
Yep.
Keep subscribing.
And sharing, please.
Yeah.
So I think personal responsibility of identifying, so like what I know and learning about yourself, knowing about yourself. So what I know about my personality is I can tend to be very pensive. I can get really lost in my thoughts and kind of go into not necessarily somber, but a real pensive kind of just even almost melancholy kind of state.
Mm-hmm.
If Johnson Green.
That's when I say we're heading out.
Yeah, we gotta go out for coffee or something.
Go out, drink it. Coffee.
But I've really strived over the years to get myself out of that. Like it has a positive quality, like, I'm thinking about business or I'm thinking about, working a problem through, but it has a tendency to get me just kind of into kind of a rut into just like this quirky energy that is not fun, dynamic, party energy. And I think to keep that can pull on the relationship. And I'm really fortunate that you're really willing to, if I have a question or I want to discuss something or run something by you, you're very willing to do that. and your energy is so good and so high that it doesn't really seem to like bring you down. But I still strive to not regularly bring you heavy stuff or just to lift my own energy.
My philosophy is if I met you and you were here and now you're here, I can get you back to here. If you're here, I can get you to here. I can help you. I can help anybody see a better way of doing things, of thinking, of working, of practicing. I've spent my entire life doing that. Martial arts, NLP, remote viewing, machining trades, tool and die making, racing, motocross, flat track quads, mountain bikes, snowmobiles, professional snowcross. If we go down the list of all of that, it is all based on bettering yourself. You have to better yourself to stay competitive. You have to better yourself to stay at the top of the game, especially amongst your peers, right? But if you're in the market, you have to continually better yourself and find different ways. Like I made a new a logo for us, right?
Yeah.
We had Marital Arts Podcast, which we own that name, Marital Arts Podcast, because we're talking about marital arts, which transition into relationships and business relationships, and everything is relationships and communication. So I made a new logo and a banner for us, and it's very different. Go see it. Check it out on YouTube. And it'll be across all of our platforms soon, but it's recognizable. It's I'm not saying it's the latest, greatest, next tech logo that's gonna skyrocket, but it is different. It's out of the box, and it makes your mind think. It's like, oh, I've never seen that before, right? And I'm not saying I'm going to change it every month or every year, but there is something to having something that's familiar and having something that changes. We are both always changing and growing.
Yeah.
And that's what I focus on. That's how I stay excited. Every day is a new day. Every day I wake up is a new breath. I take a breath. I open my eyes. I go, hey, I'm still alive. I'm still here. I put my hand over usually and I feel which direction you're laying. So whether or not I could snuggle up to you or not, or your knees are going to be right in my crotch. So, and both ways I'm happy, because if you're that way, I roll this way, and usually you get up behind me and I'm the little spoon. And then sometimes I'm the big spoon. You got to write that down. Hashtag little spoon, big spoon.
Okay.
Big spoon, little spoon. I don't know which way it goes. But, those are some of the things that I do and some of my thought process around not getting bored. I don't think I've ever said that to anybody in my life. I'm bored. I don't. Because I would just leave. I would just, it wouldn't matter where I'm at. Wouldn't matter where I go. Like you've been kind of shocked a couple times early on in our relationship when we'd go somewhere and it'd be like an event. And we're there for 15 minutes and I was like, let's go. Yeah. And you're like, what? And I'm like, there's nothing here. I don't want to be here. Let's just go.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, let's wait it out and let's see. Yeah. It might turn into something.
Yeah. And then when we went to Brazil for our friend's wedding, for Darino and Clarice's wedding, and, we're in a foreign country. Part of the reason was I didn't know anybody and no one was ever going to know me. So I was the party starter, like you said earlier. And I started the dancing. I was the first one out on the dance floor. I got some older ladies out on the dance floor, and then their husbands came out on the dance floor. And one old lady was even crying, saying, my husband hasn't danced with me in, 30, 40 years, something like that. And she was crying, and they were so excited that they did that.
Yeah.
And, the other thing is I don't get embarrassed. So that's an interesting thing. And maybe that's one of those little sociopathic things, that people have in small amounts, Nothing major, nothing dangerous.
Yeah, it's all on a scale, right? And there's a healthy range and then there's an unhealthy range.
Or you could say it's on a spectrum.
Yeah.
I'm on the spectrum. So those are some of my strategies, and a lot of it is just the way that I am now. It's not even like I'm consciously thinking, oh, I should find something else to do because it feels like this is getting slower and more monotonous and I'm going to change. It's just automatic, just on to the next thing.
Just like if someone's driving and it's like traffic is slowing down, you're like, I'm gonna take an alternate route.
Right.
Just
Very simple, very easy. Yeah.
so as I think about this, I think it if I kind of look back and I start dissecting, our relationship I think is very dynamic and very, I think rather exciting and mobile, and there's just really good energy these days. And I think it does really it having looking back on what I considered hard times that were emotionally difficult for me, and it was more life. It wasn't like you were doing something or it wasn't we're doing
I've done
something.
a few things. I know.
Well, you can admit it later.
I bet a little. Okay.
But ultimately, I it came around to me either deciding, okay, is it really the relationship? Is it really Jon? Or what can I do to change this? And I had to change how I was feeling, how I was thinking about the situation. Maybe things were not going how I had wanted at that point in life, but I had to decide what can I do about this? Do I just have to change my mindset? Do I have to change what my expectations are? Do I have to change what I'm doing? Or or is the answer really getting out? Is that really a solution? And it's not I mean, I didn't want to think about not being with you, but I had to to really put it out on the table, be real with myself. I had to go, okay, that's not the option that I want. So what I'm faced with is I have to decide what I'm gonna do.
Getting out of yourself.
Do I need to communicate better with Jon? Do I need to change my life expectations? Do I need to change what I'm doing in life to move things in the direction that I want to go, or where I want to
Who
be?
has the book Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself? That's
Dispenza,
Joe
Joe Dispenza.
Dispenza. Yeah, that's a really good book for people to read. We should start a book list
Yeah,
on our channel. But yeah, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself is a really good book. Obviously, the How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie, um, the Four Agreements by Ruiz. Is it Manuel?
Don Miguel Ruiz.
Don Miguel Ruiz. Um, those types of books are,
We'll put them in the show notes.
yeah, very very helpful in the sense of not blaming outside of you for the situation you feel like you're in, but looking into yourself and saying, what do I want? What do I need? What am I willing to invest? What am I willing to let go of? And then there's, what is my daily decrease? What are the things I'm doing daily that are taking up my thoughts, spending my time, maybe drinking alcohol or smoking cigarettes, doing something detrimental to myself that I could start reducing, and maybe reduce all of this anxiety over the things you think that you want. Am I looking at Instagram too much? Am I watching lifestyles of the rich and famous too many times a week?
That was the early Instagram,
Right. Robin Leach.
That's pretty good.
Am I watching that too much?
Are you?
Yeah. Well, back then maybe, and going, oh, I too can have a $10 million mansion. And it's
Which
like,
is like a $50 million mansion needs.
well, yeah, and you better have a $300 million a year income. I mean, because there's upkeep and maintenance and staff and that type of stuff, property taxes, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so it's, what am I doing to make myself feel that I have to have all this stuff, or I have to have something better than what I have. You could say to yourself, well, of course I should want something better than what I have. But really? I mean, if you have a garden that feeds you, should you want 4 gardens? And if you're not, I mean, if you're the only one that can eat that food and you grow 4 gardens worth and it's just going to waste, is that really something you should have or you should want? Is it going to be worth it? Is it going to be practical? And so, yeah, I think there's many different ways of looking at it and understanding it. But
what comes to mind as you're saying that is once you can establish and get yourself, take your responsibility for your own self, your own emotions, your own thoughts, then you're in a healthier state to go to one another and say, you know, it's been 5 years. I thought we would be here. These were my expectations. And you can actually have a healthy conversation instead of blaming one another or just feeling
But you
badly.
should also put out your expectations early on,
Oh, absolutely.
because
But
most of the expectations people get upset about are unspoken.
uh, totally.
Yeah.
So to kind of,
Well, you have your serenity prayer here.
I still,
You know, Lord, please give me the beer to change the things that I can and the wine to accept the things I can't.
I think that's a different version.
Oh, okay.
So because we're making this a quick one and
Yeah, we got to get going.
kind of sticking to, you know, these time frames in a relationship where maybe it's a 7 year itch, maybe you're experiencing boredom, but in general it's like things are not flowing, they're not happy, they're not joyful. There is something in astrology where there are different cycles of the planets. So we have life cycles, and it's really amazing how they line up with the cycles of planets. And so the 7 year itch, ironically, coincidentally, lines up with cycles of Saturn. Saturn is seen as, I kind of like to equate Saturn as kind of like the grumpy old guy who's like, I don't want to go anywhere, I don't want to do anything. You save your money, you don't do that, don't have fun. You know, you just need to sit here and study, you need to sit and work, you know, you need to think about this. And it's just basically like all the stuff you know you really need to do in life, you know it. It's true. Like he's right. You know, but you're like, I don't know, you know? Or like, I've been working for 8 hours straight. I need a break. He's like, you can do 2 hours more, you know? And so that's kind of the energy is what I'm trying to convey. And Saturn has this cycle, and uh, every 7 years it matches up, it creates a 90-degree or square, what's called in astrology. And a square is a great angle, but it can seem like a harsh angle. And what it does for us in our personal charts, you when you start a relationship, you actually the different astrologers will say the start of a relationship starts at different points. That they might have different opinions, but especially if you're married, your marriage date and time and location is the starting of that marriage.
Like your birth for
Like your birth, yeah.
for your sun sign.
And so every 7 years, you come up to this harsh angle, and it just is a little bit more trying. And so sometimes, you know, I like to be careful with astrology that I don't blame things on astrology. It's just helpful to know what the energies are coming around with. And so it just may be a little bit more of a stringent, hardworking, like last year was our 21st year. So that is a multiplier of 7. So that would have classically been a year where we're just kind of like having to work through things a little bit more. And so sometimes just knowing that it's a part of a cycle, you know, can be very helpful. It's just like winter. You know, winter for me, it's like great time to work inside, read, and work. um, but I really look forward to spring and summer. But knowing that it's just part of the cycle is really helpful.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect place to end it.
It's a great place.
Yeah.
So there we go. 7 year itch, boredom. If you're just kind of in the feels like you're drudging through.
Get over it. Get on with it. You can do another 2 years.
Yep. Don't give up.
All right.
Have a good one.